Every story has two sides. Most people never hear the second one. That's where we come in. The first side always sounds convincing until the second side walks through the door. My team of special investigators and I don't take anyone's word for it. We go looking, we dig, we find the version of events that never made it to your timeline. Your job? Sit on the jury. Drop your verdict in the comments. Because every case we bring you deserves a ruling from the people. I'm the Honorable Vale. This is the docket, and court is now in session. Stop. Before you decide who the villain is, you need every name in this case, and there are more of them than you think. Case 1-0-0-4. A woman who married a man at 28, while her teenage sister stood beside her as a bridesmaid. 7 years later, that marriage ended. 16 years after that, her sister, now grown, fell in love with a man at a party. A man with a different first name, a different face, the same man. One sister calls it betrayal. The other calls it an accident neither of them saw coming. Literally, given what happened to his face in between. Yes, you heard that correctly. The first voice speaks first. The second voice responds. The jury delivers the verdict. That is you. Court is in session.
I met Daniel during my final year of my master's. He really was a prodigy. Finished his undergraduate degree at 19, and somehow none of that made him insufferable. He was warm, funny, surprisingly easy to be around for someone that brilliant. The 4-year age gap never felt strange to either of us. I was 28. He was 24. We married within 2 years of meeting. Claire was 16 at our wedding. I want to explain what that means, because it's the center of everything that came after. I raised her in a lot of the ways that count. Our parents were present, but not engaged in the way kids need. I was the one who showed up to her school things, who taught her to drive, who sat with her through every heartbreak before she was old enough to call them that. She was my little sister, but she was also, in some real sense, mine to look after. For 7 years, Daniel was part of that family. Every holiday, every birthday, every ordinary Sunday dinner. Claire was in high school for 2 of those years and away at college for 5 of them. Out of state, so she wasn't at every single gathering, but she was at enough of them. The marriage ended slowly. Not one dramatic event. Over years, there were cracks that formed. And then in the final year, I believe, an emotional affair. I never found proof it crossed into something physical. I didn't have the energy to dig for proof. I was drowning. I want to be honest about something I didn't fully say in the post. I was not okay during that divorce. I don't mean sad. I mean I was grieving terribly, but being the older child, I never had anyone to lean on. I was functional. I went to work. From the outside, I looked no different. I signed paperwork, and none of it registered as loss until much later. I signed a settlement. I should have had a lawyer comb through line by line. I didn't. Claire moved abroad for work not long before the divorce, and that timing matters too. She wasn't here to watch any of it happen. I told her things were mutual, because admitting the truth out loud felt like admitting I'd failed at something. And I wasn't ready to say that yet, even to her. Years passed. I rebuilt. Slowly, but I rebuilt. And then Claire called me 2 years ago to tell me she'd been dating someone for a year. A man named Oscar. She spoke about his business and financials. She later found out, by accident, flipping through old photo albums, that Oscar was Daniel, that his full legal name was Daniel Oscar Myers. She claimed she did not make him out and that time had changed his features. I then put things together and realized that Daniel, or Oscar as he prefers to be called now, had concealed a business interest during that settlement. something that has since become worth a significant amount of money. That is not a small detail. That is the foundation of why I'm pursuing what I'm pursuing now. I want to say I believed her immediately, but I didn't. I still struggle with it, if I'm honest in this room the way I wasn't fully honest in that post. 15 plus gatherings, my wedding, holidays. A face doesn't erase that completely, even with 16 years between then and now. I'm not accusing her of lying. I'm telling you I find the explanation difficult to fully accept. And that difficulty is real, even if I can't prove anything beyond it. When she married him anyway, after everything came out, after I asked her not to, I felt like the 8-year-old version of her I used to walk to school had grown up and chosen the one person who could erase me most completely. Not because she meant it that way, because that's how it felt. The asset claim exists on its own. It would exist if Daniel had married a stranger. It would exist if he'd never remarried at all. I am not punishing my sister for falling in love. I am trying to recover something that was taken from me through concealment by a man who happens now to be her husband. She's not the target. She's in the crossfire because she is standing beside the target.
A man with 2 names who married 2 sisters. A sister who raised a sister. A wedding attended at 16. A reunion 16 years later that neither of them planned and only one of them recognized, maybe. Before you decide what maybe is worth, you need to hear from Claire directly. Claire came to the docket the moment she heard her own sister doubted her in a public proceeding. She has a timeline to walk us through, and a face, his face, before and after, that she says explains everything. Let's see if it does. The second voice speaks now.
I was 16 at Diana's wedding. 16. I was a bridesmaid because she asked me to be, and I said yes because I loved her. But I want to be honest. At 16, I was not building a relationship with her husband. He was an adult in my sister's life. I was a teenager figuring out my own. Over their 7 years of marriage, I was physically present with him. By my own count, going back through old calendars and photos to be precise about this, somewhere between 12 and 15 times. Christmases, a couple of birthdays, one 4th of July barbecue. I remember mostly because I got sunburned. I left for college out of state when I was 18. I built an entire adult life somewhere else. I moved abroad in my mid-20s for work, and stayed there. By the time I met the man I'd come to know as Oscar, 16 years had passed since I stood next to my sister at her wedding. 16 years. I need that number to sit with you, because it's doing more work in this case than anyone wants to give it credit for. I met him at a party thrown by a coworker. He introduced himself as Oscar. He had a faint scar pattern along his jaw and nose that I noticed but never asked about. You don't interrogate someone's face at a party. That felt rude. He later told me about an accident he had that required some plastic surgery to fix. He had also started growing a beard to help hide the scars. Something about him was familiar in a way I genuinely could not place, and I told him so, early on. I said, "You seem so familiar, have we met?" He said no. I believed him, because why wouldn't I? We dated for a year, a real year, meeting each other's friends, traveling together, building the kind of life 2 adults build when they think they're heading somewhere serious. I found the photo by accident. I was helping him sort through old boxes during a move, and there was a photo album, his, that I'd genuinely never seen. There was a wedding photo. My sister's dress, my own face, 16 years younger, standing beside her in a bridesmaid gown I'd completely forgotten the color of. I want you to understand what that moment felt like. It wasn't betrayal yet. It was vertigo. I sat down on his kitchen floor because my legs genuinely stopped working correctly, and I could not speak for a long time. When I finally asked him directly, "Is this you? Is this my sister?" He said yes. He'd known for almost 8 months. He said he didn't know how to tell me that every time he tried to find the right moment, it never came. And so he just kept not saying anything, hoping it would somehow matter less the longer he waited. It mattered more. I left that night. I didn't ask for an explanation beyond the one he'd already given. I packed a bag and I left. And I called Diana and I told her everything, and she did not believe me. She thought I'd known. She thought our mutual friend had set it up deliberately. Nothing I said moved her, and I understand, in a clinical sort of way, why this story sounds unbelievable from the outside. I would probably struggle to believe it too, if it weren't my own life. 2 weeks after I left him, I found out I was 6 weeks pregnant. I did not see that coming. I want to be completely honest. I did not immediately tell Diana that part, not because I was hiding it strategically, but because I genuinely did not know what I was doing with that information myself. I was processing a pregnancy and a 15-year-old wound to my sister's marriage at the same time, and I did not have the bandwidth to manage her reaction to both at once. He reached out again during that time, not knowing about the pregnancy yet. I told him a few months later. I thought about what to do for during that time. I went to therapy. I made a decision that I believe was mine to make, about a man I had fallen in love with under a different name, who turned out to share history with my sister that I did not ask for and could not have reasonably been expected to detect. We got married a year later. Diana did not come. Now she is pursuing an asset claim against him. I have mixed feelings about this. Logically, I know if he hid money during their divorce, that is between the two of them, and I hope she gets every dollar she's owed. Nonetheless, there is a part of me that thinks this is an act of revenge. She feels I knew him and pursued him in spite of me knowing. I feel that her claim is her way of trying to break us. I was 16 at her wedding. I am 32 now, half my life ago. He had a different name, a rebuilt face, and a story I had no way to cross-reference against family photo albums I hadn't looked at in over a decade. My sister raised me. I would not do this to her on purpose. I just didn't recognize him. I wish that were a more satisfying answer. It's the true one.
Two sides, one truth, somewhere, as always, in the wreckage between them. Let us establish what is not in dispute. Daniel Oscar Myers was married to Diana for 7 years. Claire, his ex-sister-in-law, was 16 years old at that wedding and saw him in person, somewhere between 12 and 15 times over the marriage. 16 years after the wedding, following a serious accident and reconstructive facial surgery, Claire met him again under his middle name, did not recognize him, and dated him for a year before discovering the connection by accident. She left immediately upon learning the truth. She is now married to him and pregnant, or by now, likely a parent, with his child. Diana is separately pursuing a legal claim against Daniel for assets she alleges he concealed during their original divorce settlement, a claim that predates and exists independently of Claire's relationship with him. Those are the facts. The dispute is what they mean. Diana's doubt rests on a simple, intuitive math problem. 15 encounters, a wedding, years of proximity. Surely, she argues, some residue of recognition should have survived 16 years and a reconstructed face. The docket finds this intuition understandable and unreliable. Human facial recognition, particularly across a 16-year gap, compounded by adolescent memory formation. Claire was a teenager for most of the relevant exposure, and further compounded by significant reconstructive surgery to the skull, nose, and jaw, is genuinely unpredictable. People fail to recognize far less altered faces after far shorter gaps. The accident is independently verifiable. The timeline Claire offers is internally consistent. There is no direct evidence, only Diana's understandable difficulty believing it. That difficulty is not nothing, but it is not proof. What the record does show clearly is this: Claire left the moment she learned the truth, with no negotiation, no hesitation, and at real personal cost, including shortly after. The discovery of a pregnancy that complicated rather than clarified her decision to eventually return. Whether that return constitutes forgiveness, love, or simply the practical reality of an unplanned pregnancy with a man she'd already built a year of intimacy with, is a judgment this court is not equipped to make on her behalf. As for the asset claim, the docket finds it credible on its own terms, exactly as Diana presents it. A concealed business interest is a legal matter between two former spouses. It does not require Claire's guilt to be valid, and it is not weakened by Claire's innocence either. Diana is right that the claim stands independently. Claire is right that she is not its proper target. Here is where this case resists a clean ruling. If you believe Claire's account of recognition, and the medical and circumstantial evidence supports believing it, then nothing she has done warrants blame. She fell in love with a man under a name and a face that were, for all practical purposes, not the man her sister married. The gray line rests with going back to a man that intentionally deceived her for 8 months. That, however, is her call to make. If you do not believe it, if 16 years in reconstructive surgery feel like too convenient an excuse, then this becomes a very different story. One this court cannot prove either way, without evidence neither side has offered. The docket withholds its motion on this case. The jury decides alone. Deliberate. The comment section is your jury box. Argue your position. Challenge the other side. Place your vote in the poll below. This court has done its job. Now, do yours. Before we adjourn, confirm your empanelment by hitting that subscribe button. Leave your verdict below. Share this case with a fellow juror, and I'll see you when court reconvenes. Case 1004, adjourned.